Do you have any like little regrets as to, okay, cool, with where you are now in regards to the whole like creating content and stuff like that? Do you feel actually you could have attacked or done this maybe a little bit earlier with maybe certain ideas you had before?
No. I couldn't know. It's timing.
Cool.
Everything is in life is timing, brother. And God, man, it's timing. And obviously I used to get into a lot of trouble when I was younger and stuff like that. So that wasn't even in my. The music was there because I had bridges in the music. So cool, but the timing was just, it wouldn't have been right, man. I mostly would have ran up and done something else or got into trouble or I don't know, man. I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's timing.
Cool. And you spoke about obviously being in trouble when you were a little bit younger and stuff like that. And in our last conversation, you were talking about trauma and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like, not to get into specifics and such like that, of course, obviously you can choose to.
Yeah.
Would you say that there's anything specific that kind of like sticks in your memory as to initiating maybe how you felt? And I think I'll probably give an example of myself and not necessarily trauma, but just things that you struggle to deal with. So like I mentioned before, obviously my dad had 6 months, and in that time, specifically, you begin thinking about the things that you have or haven't done and time you haven't really spent with your parent. I spent a lot of time with my dad, to be fair, right? So I can't be too hard on myself. I wouldn't be too hard on myself. But I wish things would have been different. So for example, like my dad was never an individual who maybe loved going out. Do you know what I mean? Loved going out. And I think and sit to myself, actually, I wish we went out and spent maybe a little bit more time together. Or some of the things that I'm very grateful for is that my dad was a diehard Liverpool fan. So I'm very happy when I was working at Fulham that I took him to a Liverpool-Fulham game. And I think I might have taken him to maybe a Fulham Man United game as well. So I took him to 1 or 2 big games. So I'm very happy that I have those memories that I actually did spend time with him in that, in that sense. But I wish I spent more time with him. Does that make sense?
100%. Okay.
So like, so that sometimes I think about that. Do you know what I mean? Could have things been different? But is there anything in regards to yourself which maybe set in with yourself as to, why you had some of those difficulties?
As in getting in trouble?
Yeah, just or just maybe certain memories that might have like stuck out to you as to, do you know, actually this is something that like is the foundation of some of my problems. Or
I believe sorry to cut you. I believe you look for love elsewhere. Does that make sense? So, like I said, growing up, I had like a lot of trauma. I wouldn't say my family didn't love me, but they dealt me wrong.
Okay.
I didn't receive the love I believe I needed. So you find outside sources for love as such. So when you meet certain people and they show you certain loves and whatever not, you feel a part of something, and it's like we're all the same and there's love. And then what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, you feel a part of something. So that's how I started to get into trouble. I think I started to move with these crowds, and then it just started to go left from there, man.
Do you know, like, even with that, like, not that you're blaming your parents or anyone for what took place back then. Do you find yourself in a place now where like maybe you're more forgiving because actually back then they're the tools that they had, and in regards to not necessarily discipline, in fact, let's say love, in regards to love and discipline, sometimes, time may have restricted that, in regards to spending time with your children, because they're out working 1, 2, 3 jobs, and even in regards to even discipline children, do you know what I mean, as to, do you know what I mean? I don't know, I hope that makes sense.
No, I don't blame. Like I said to you before, in our last conversation, I understand that my mum's gone through certain things. Now I understand. Yeah. So it's not her fault. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think my mum doesn't love me. I'm not saying that at all.
Of course.
I don't believe it was the love I needed to feel and to keep me away from doing certain things. Like.
Cool.
And also growing up without a father is that's a key thing for male children as well. You need that dad. You need that discipline. Like, I was unruly, like I was rude. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was very rude, do you understand? And I wasn't really just scared of nobody. Do you understand? Like, I'm not scared of nobody. If you say you're gonna call this person, I don't care. So you need that father figure to kind of like come in and say, yo boy, sit down. And you can see from when you're young, the discipline of not having that, you're on the way to destruction, man. You're only on the way, especially where we grow up in these environments and the people you're gonna meet and whatever not, you're only gonna end up in problems, man.
Me, you, and the driver, we gotta get this photo together. Gotta get this selfie.
Oh, open it. Have you got a bag? A bag for fucking what? You grocery shopping or something? You doubling up on these bags?
I was like, wow, women are incredible.
I've been out here every single weekend since I've been doing this, picking up people who have had amazing nights.
Off, mum, I'm sleeping. I'm staying here. Leave me alone.
I mean, I've always said this anyway, that this thing has killed me, but I can see I've aged. I look at my beard, mad grey hairs. It is mad.
Alright, I got another one for us. If you could relive any day from your past, which day would it be and why? Alright, I got one. So, I used to play for Greenford Celtic when I was a kid.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I used to play at Greenford Celtic, left winger. Shout out Greenford Celtic. And my mum come to watch me one time. It was the first time she watched me, and my brother Aaron, he used to play for Arsenal. They come and watch me, and I played so sick. Like, I think that was like one of the best days I've ever played football. I hit the crossbar from outside the box, got an assist, scored a goal. Like, I played sick, and I think it was because my mum watched me, and it was like it's something I've always remembered because she was there, innit? That's the first time she took her time out to come and actually watch me play for like Sunday league them times, and it was. Yeah, I just always remember that day, man. It's very special for me to have them two watching me.
I want to touch on that because again, that's a beautiful moment, and I don't think I've got a moment like that, which is might be a little bit sad actually. And the reason why I say that, or what I wanted to say, sorry, was like I played for Pitsanger, Acton Ealing Whistlers, and someone else anyway. All right.
You played Acton Ealing Whistlers?
No, so we crossed over. So he moved to Pitsanger and I moved to Acton Ealing Whistlers.
How old was you when you played Acton Ealing Whistlers?
I was probably 15, so I was going.
Oh, yeah. We played when we was like kids.
Yeah. So I think at year 10 he then moved to Pitsanger, and I think so it was something like year 10 or halfway through year 10.
Yeah.
So like, so I think what I wanted to say, is that like my dad never watched me play. So I played from the age of say 10, 11 up until 16, and he never watched me play. And actually, football has been a massive part of my life. I mean, to the point obviously where, I worked at Fulham Football Club as a senior scout, etc., etc. So football has been quite a big thing for me. But my dad never watched me play, and it was something that we spoke about quite often. So I always think back sometimes as to what that support would have done. And even as an adult and someone who's kind of like worked in the game, you sit back and you kind of watch other children who don't have their mum or their dad there. And you can see actually those things actually make the difference. You know what I mean? Because you've got children who are going there, and it sounds mad actually, but they're actually, I don't want to say they're adult, but they're having to take on responsibilities which they really shouldn't have to.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Whether it's in regards to just knowing a little bit more or navigating what might be professional football, or actually just having having someone who's going to support them and cheer them on and be their cheerleader when they need it most.
Yeah.
When they need it most.
I think having parents supporting you if your child's doing sports, it's important, man. Like I said, my mum watched me that one game, but I believe if I had a stronger support system within sports, I reckon I would have done a lot better.
I always think that, but I mean, I try not to.
A lot better, man. Like I could run. You lot are what, 3 school years older than me?
Something like that, yeah.
And I could beat all of them in a ask him.
Really?
When I was young, I could beat all of them in a race. Ask him. That's how. And remember when you're going back to school, like 3 years in school. You got 3 school years, innit? Yeah. So you got to think that's a lot.
So in regards to memory, when I was traveling in 2012, I remember thinking to myself, I don't even know what country I was in, but we were having like hot chocolate, and we were eating raw chocolate. We must have come from like a chocolate factory or something like that. And I just remember sitting down and just thinking to, all right, thank you, all right, so we're having chocolate, all right?
Yeah.
We were having chocolate, all right? And I remember thinking to myself, like, I have so much peace and this is so nice. I'm not in a rush. I'm not thinking about nothing. My mind's not racing. For the first time in a while, I just felt still. And, it had nothing to do with having chocolate or drinking chocolate. I just felt still. So I'm laughing at that raw chocolate thing. I just felt still, and that just felt really, really nice. And sometimes I don't want to say I'm chasing that, but I always remember that when I feel still. Do you know what I mean? And nothing's really bothering me.
That's cool. That's a good memory.
Yeah.
So, alright, we've got one more, then we're done. What's the most insightful question you would like to, or would have asked your parents?
Mine, and I think about this all the time, and I wrote about this in my book as well, is, was it all worth it?
Was what worth it?
Sorry, no, in regards to our parents, was it all worth it in terms of coming from Ghana or coming from wherever and coming to this country and raising your children and in the manner that you raise your children? Was it all worth it? Do you know what I mean? So I'm always like really intrigued. And I mentioned the guy from Trinidad a little bit earlier, and I'm not too sure I said this to you. Like, my thoughts were, like, he told me this phenomenal story, and I don't think I told this story well enough. Because that was it. He told me he was a banker. I'm sure he told me he was a banker.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure he told me he was a banker, and then eventually when he came to the country, he told me he was a banker. He told me he was a banker, and then he said he came to the country when there was riots in Notting Hill in 1957 or something along those lines. So he said he's seen absolutely everything. Then eventually he became a black cab driver, and somehow, obviously he's bought a house, etc., etc., etc. And at the very end of that conversation, I wanted to ask him, was it all worth it? And these are the questions that I kind of want to ask my mum and my dad. Well, my dad's not here no longer, so these are the things that I wish I asked him in some respect. But I was also scared to ask, because the last thing you want them to say, the last thing you want them to say is, it wasn't worth it. You know, and it kind of like, you know, I don't even know how to articulate it, but it brings about maybe a disappointment for yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As to, your parents came here to give and provide you a better life, and actually when they look back on their decisions, it wasn't worth it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then also, for all their sacrifice, did they kind of like did they achieve what they wanted to achieve? Because I don't think we sit down and kind of like ask our parents.
That's what I would ask my parents, you know.
Did they achieve what they wanted to achieve?
Yeah.
Forget Andrew. Yeah, did you achieve what you wanted to achieve?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That's a good one. That's my question. That's my one. I would ask them, like, what was your goals? Like, what did you want to be? I've never asked them that. Like, what did you want to be growing up? Like, what was your goals? What did you dream? Like, where was your dream house? Did you have any destination you wanted to live in? Stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I don't really know my parents. You know, like, I don't know nothing about. And I would ask them how they was when they was younger. Like, how was you when you was my age?
Yeah.
And things like that. And I would also ask my dad, like, why did you bounce? Do you feel me? Like, why did you go? Why did you?
Tough questions, but sometimes those questions they need to be asked.
Yeah. Why did you not show up sometimes when you needed to? Nah, let me not say it. My dad's very, like, if I ever phoned him I'm in trouble, he was there. But it was times where I think if I had a dad, like I said before, if he was around, I would have been a bit more stable. So I would want to ask, like, why? What was it? What was it? Why? I think I would want to know that. So, yeah.
And it's mad, actually, because, like, how do I say this? I'm kind of losing my train of thought. Is now that we're older, I'm not saying there is an excuse for why, you know, those sort of things happen, but now that you're older, you can actually rationalize it and actually understand, you know, some of the difficulties that they went through. Back then, things were a lot harder than, actually, I don't know, actually. I'll just say this.
No,
I'm not
no
too
one
sure.
can't give me no excuse, bro. I'm not having it. Do you know, like, do you know, like, don't talk rubbish. Talk the truth. Like, if I feel like you're talking crap, I don't want to hear.
Oh my God, these lot again.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't want to hear no rubbish excuses. Be real and just tell the truth. I think telling the truth is important, man.
Yeah. And I like that. Do you know what I mean? I like that, because when you do become a parent, I guess maybe through those experiences, you kind of like realize and understand how you've got to go about things. You know what I mean? How you got to navigate life. You know what I mean? You're now looking after a young one. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I think it's important, man. But yeah, I enjoyed this again. It's sick.